Hey Astro Kids, and welcome back. And this is your horoscope for August 2022. Let's go ahead and jump right into this. So up on the screen here are the transits for this month of August. And our first transit here will be Venus entering into the sign of Cancer. And this can be a very difficult time for relationships as Venus is coming into its enemy's home of the moon. And so this can definitely be a time where there are emotional difficulties occurring within relationships. This also, though, can be an excellent time for creative expression. And so this is excellent for those who are in music and art, in the media, those who are entrepreneurs. This is excellent in terms of your ability to express yourself here in this very creative sign of Cancer. This can definitely be a time where you are feeling like you are wanting to get closer, to get more intimate, but you want to use discernment within your relationships as this can bring up arguments and emotional outbursts. Venus is not doing so well in this very turbulent area of Cancer, where the moon brings dramatic ups and downs. On August 11th, Mars will enter into the sign of Taurus, and this is an excellent position for your drive and determination. Just remember that Taurus is a very materialistic sign, and Mars is all about where we are putting our energy and focus into. And so this is a time where you don't want to get distracted or to scatter your energy and focus into the sensual pleasures of life. This is a time where you want to find a particular area of your life that you want to focus your energy and drive into. And by doing this, this will help you to achieve your goals. Remember that Taurus is represented by a bull, and a bull is going to see red when it's focused. And so this is an energy when focused will allow you to have the stamina and drive to push forward towards your goals. But when distracted, this is an energy that can get very scattered. On the 11th, we're also going to see full moon in Capricorn. In particular, it will be in the nakshatra of Dhanishta. And this is where we see Saturn retrograde as well. So this will be a full moon that is affected by this Saturn retrograde. This is very interesting. Dhanishta has everything to do with doing things in the correct timing, being in the right place at the right time where everything is flowing in sync with the universe. And so this is all about being patient, but also having the courage to act when the time is right. And this is occurring here with this Saturn retrograde that is trying to teach us to become more responsible, more dutiful in certain areas of our lives. So during this Saturn retrograde, what is it that you need to change, that you need to improve on, that you need to work towards? This is all going to come up during this full moon, as there is some karma here that needs to be completed and cleared out through this Saturn retrograde. On the 16th of August, we will see the sun enter into the sign of Leo. So sun is coming into its home. And remember that the sun has everything to do with our principles, our purpose, our career, our status, our recognition, how we shine in life. And the sun is coming into this domain of Leo, which is very dominant, which is very leadership oriented, wants to take charge, wants to be the center of attention. And so this is definitely a month here of shining, of being successful, of being seen and noticed. So for those who are focused in their area of career, this can definitely be a great time depending upon how the sun is impacting your natal chart, where you can see some big accomplishments and gains in this area. On the 20th of August, Mercury will enter into Virgo. Mercury also is coming into its home sign. And even more so, this is Mercury's Mulatrakone sign and its exaltation. So Mercury is very powerful here in the sign of Virgo. This is excellent for communication skills, for business skills, for really using all of your skills and knowledge to your advantage. This Mercury in Virgo is very clever, is very calculative, is very detail oriented. And so this can be excellent for those of you who are in business, for those of you who are writing, who are using your communication skills, those who are working in the media, social media. All of this is being highlighted during this Mercury in Virgo. On the 26th, we will have a new moon in Leo. Specifically, it will occur in the first degrees of Leo, which are falling in the nakshatra of Magha. And so Magha has everything to do with tradition, power, royalty. It has to do with family, with ancestry. All of this is having to do with this Magha energy. And so as the new moon comes into Magha, this is definitely a great time to start a new routine, a new habit that is going to help you in your pursuit towards success. This is also an excellent time to call on your ancestors, your spirit guides for assistance at this time. Again, this Magha energy being strongly connected to the sacred ancestors. And this is also a great time for your ambition, your drive, your determination. You want to be careful though, because this is the moon, once again, which is a very heightened and emotional planet. And as it comes into this space of Magha, which has to do with tradition, power, and royalty, you want to make sure that your ego is not getting blown out of proportion. This is definitely a time to use this energy and determination to your advantage, to achieve, to drive towards success, using this competitive spirit towards yourself, competing with your old self and becoming a new version of yourself, rather than using this to overpower others. On the 31st, Venus will enter into Leo, and this is also a challenging position for Venus, as Venus and the Sun are not friends. Remember that the Sun has to do with our purpose, our principles, and Venus has to do with indulging in the sensual pleasures, in the beauty of life. And so these two energies are clashing with one another. As Venus comes into Leo, you can see some difficulties within relationships. This is definitely a time where you want to be careful about how you are interacting with superiors, if you're working under others, how you're interacting with your boss, as Leo again is ruled by the Sun, which has to do with authority. And so you can see some difficulties around relationships with authority figures at this time. This can also bring up some power struggles and difficulties within your personal relationships. So you want to be careful here with this energy. There definitely can be an ego or a selfishness that can arise as Venus comes into Leo. This is also, though, a great time for your creativity, for your professional life, for your ability to grow in those areas. So again, this ambition, this drive, this ability to shine is being highlighted here in this month of August. So let's go ahead and talk about how this horoscope will affect each of you according to your zodiac signs. And just a quick disclaimer that this is not according to Western tropical astrology. This will be according to Vedic astrology, which is using the sidereal zodiac. So if you're not familiar with what your sidereal moon sign is, there is a link to a calculator down below in the description so that you have the correct information. Another quick disclaimer is that this is not according to your sun sign. This will be according to your ascendant, your moon sign, or your ascendant in your D9 Navamsa. So I recommend looking at all three of those positions, as the sun is representing your soul. So the sun is not showing your horoscope. The ascendant is representing the karmas, the lessons that are playing out within your life. And so that will show how these transits will occur within your daily life. The moon sign is representing your mind, so that will show how you will react and respond, how you're perceiving these transits. And the D9 will give a closer insight into how this will affect your life and personality. Also, another quick disclaimer is that this will be a very general horoscope, as we're going to go deeper into these transits in future videos. Also, you want to keep in mind that this will affect each of your natal charts differently depending upon the planets that are placed in your natal chart. And so you want to pay attention to how these transits are affecting your chart in terms of forming yogas, aspects, conjunctions. That will all change how these results will occur. Starting off, for those of you with an Aries moon or Aries ascendant, we will see Venus entering into your fourth house. And so this is an excellent time for your creativity, for your ability to go inward, to develop your skills. This can be an excellent time for your education, as we have this Venus energy that is controlling your second and seventh house. And so for those of you who are involved in real estate, those of you who are involved in teaching, dealing with children, working in daycares, this can be an excellent time. Venus here in this fourth house definitely makes you more drawn towards home, towards working at home. For some of you, you can be doing projects and jobs from your home base. This can definitely be a time where you are more connected with your mother, with your family, all of this coming up during this transit here. This could also be a time where you are spending. So you want to be careful about how you are putting your money out, especially as we're going to have Mars transiting through your second house. So your chart ruler has gone into that second house, where many of you will be very much focused on money, on family, on your resources. And Mars in that second house can sometimes bring in some impulsive spending. And remember, this is occurring in the sign of Taurus, where this is very materialistic, very sensual. So you want to pay attention to your eating habits, your spending habits. All of this is coming up during this transit. This could also be a time where you're more authoritative or dominating in your speaking ability. And so you can come across as a bit direct in your speech also. So you want to be careful about how you're approaching relationships with this Mars transiting the second house, where you can sometimes get into arguments or conflicts with others. We're also going to see Venus shift forward into your fifth house, and that will be an excellent transit. As Venus leaves that fourth house, this will especially be a great time for you to express yourself creatively, to put your projects, your works out into the world. And so this is definitely a time for those of you working on projects, working on books, in the teaching field, anything where you are having to express yourself creatively, where you are having to teach, to share. This is excellent. This can be a great time to publish a new book, to put a new project out there. This can also be a time where you are enjoying yourself a little bit more. And so there can be a celebration, a graduation. There can be all sorts of events and socializing occurring as Venus moves into this fifth house. This definitely will get you into a mood of wanting to enjoy yourself and to do more of your hobbies and activities. This can be a great time to really socialize and connect with others within these areas where you are getting involved in. We're also going to see the sun, of course, that is entering into this fifth house. So this is becoming a central focus for you as the sun is lighting up this fifth house. This becomes an excellent month, again, for you to express yourself creatively, for you to go for your desires, the things that you want to make come true, where you are expressing and putting more of your projects and knowledge out into the world at this time. This can also be a time where you're very much focused on your religious hobbies, on all of these areas of mantras, of spirituality, of all of your daily rituals and practices spiritually that you are getting involved in. This can also put a huge focus on your area of children. For those of you who have children, there can be an huge amount of focus, this shining light that is coming in this area where you can have a child that is graduating or is achieving something in the area of sports or academics at this time. So this can be excellent as the sun comes in here. The sun, of course, is a friend of your ruler Mars. So this is an excellent transit as the sun comes home. We're also going to see Mercury come into your sixth house, and Mercury is getting exalted in this sixth house. But of course, the sixth house is a very challenging house where you're having to deal with everyday responsibilities, with all of the trivial details and matters of your life. So Mercury coming in here gives you a lot of focus and determination in terms of how you're dealing with your health, how you're dealing with your everyday responsibilities, your work life. For those of you who are working in businesses with employees, with a boss, this can help you in terms of dealing with your colleagues, dealing with your authority figures. All of this is excellent as Mercury comes in here. This gives excellent problem solving abilities, excellent negotiation skills. This can come to your advantage, especially as Mercury is ruling over your third and sixth house, both of these being challenge houses that have to do with really being courageous and overcoming the obstacles of life, putting your skills, your knowledge out into the forefront to solve issues, to really put yourself out there. This can be excellent in career, excellent in any kind of pursuits that you're doing, any kind of obstacles and challenges. Mercury is in this sixth house to give you the cleverness, to give you the skills to overcome those difficulties. And we're also going to see a full moon occurring here in your 10th house. And so this can definitely be the completion of a project that you've been working on or something that you have been working towards in your career, in your professional life. This can be a closing point here where you are coming to a close or you're feeling that things are starting to move in the right direction here as this full moon comes into here. This can also be a time where you're having to release some things from the past. So remember that this full moon here is coming into a conjunction with a Saturn retrograde. And so this is definitely a time of looking at those areas of work, of responsibility that are no longer serving you, and making the changes that are necessary, making the improvements. And especially as Saturn is retrograde, this is more so about sitting with these areas and looking over it versus making dramatic moves. You want to really take the time to reflect in this area and to look at your responsibilities, to look at your duty, to look at how you're showing up in the public and what areas of that you need to improve, that you need to work on, that you need to come up with a better strategy for. Now, we're going to also see a new moon that's occurring then, that fifth house. So fifth house, again, becomes the central focus for you in the month of August here, where this really becomes an excellent time for your creative expression, to take up a new hobby, to socialize, connect with others, to enjoy yourself. This can all come up during this time. This could be excellent for your children, again, for romance. For those of you who are involved in relationships, this could be a time of spicing up your romantic life. And those who are not involved in any kind of romantic relationships, this could be bringing in a new partnership into your life. Now remember that K2 is in that seventh house, and so many of you are very focused on your pursuits, on your new path, your new direction that you're going into. So you don't want to get too distracted in this area. This is excellent this whole month here with all of this activity in your fifth house in terms of your personal growth, your success, your ability to strive for a new direction. For those of you with a Taurus moon or Taurus ascendant, we will see Venus here in your third house. And so this is an excellent time of creative expression. For those of you who are involved in writing, singing, communications, media, this can be excellent for you in your career pursuits. Those who are entrepreneurs, those who have projects on the side, all of this is excellent as Venus comes into this third house. And of course, Venus is your chart ruler, so this is going to put your primary focus of your life into this third house. And so this is very prominent here, where this is an excellent time of self-expression. Venus in here can also make your communication style very pleasing, very charming, where others are liking you, where you can become very popular during this time. And so again, this is excellent for putting yourself out there, having the courage to express yourself, to really put your talents and intelligence out into the forefront for others to see. This can be an excellent time if you are publishing a book, if you're teaching, if you're wanting to share information. People will listen to you during this transit with this Venus here, which is giving you a tremendous amount of charm. Mars is also going to transit through your first house. And so this is excellent again for your ability to be courageous, to put yourself out there. This Mars coming into your first house definitely gives you a ton of energy and drive to push forward. Now remember again that Mars can get easily distracted in the sign of Taurus. And those of you with Taurus rising are very earthy, are very sensual, very much connected with nature and the physical aspects of life. And so you definitely want to pay attention to where are you focusing all of this energy at? Where are you directing all of this energy towards? But this is definitely a great time here to put your focus, to put your energy into where you want to strive towards. Mars is ruling over your 12th house, along with your 7th house. And so this could also involve foreign affairs, relationships, connections, business. All of this is coming up at this time. Your creativity and inspiration can be opened up through this transit. You want to pay attention, though, to your sleep patterns, of course, as Mars is ruling over that 12th house of your sleep, of your comfort, of your bed. All of this is being ruled over by this Martian influence. And we also have Rahu, that is a very restless energy back in that 12th house as well, and Mars is acting as the dispositor of Rahu. So you want to make sure that you're taking care of your health during this transit, that you're paying attention to those areas, as this can give you a lot of restless energy. Again, finding a constructive outlet for all of this energy is very important. This could be a time where you're more physical, more active, more so focused on your exercise, your daily habits, your body in general, as this first house also has to do with your physical body. We're also going to see the sun shift here into your 4th house. So many of you are going to draw your focus into your home, your family, your happiness, your inner peace. And so this can be a great time for relaxing, a great time for connecting with family, a great time for really taking that rest and rejuvenation that you need for yourself. But with the sun here, this can also make you very much focused and lit up in your mind, where many of you are thinking, you are getting this inspiration, these downloads at this time. And so again, this is a very creative time for you, very expressive time for you to really sit with those ideas, to sit with what you want to express and put out into the world. Mercury is also going to shift here into your 5th house. So again, the creativity is being highlighted. And Mercury is very powerful as it gets exalted here in this 5th house. Mercury in your chart is an incredibly powerful planet as it rules over this 5th house of good fortune. So this is excellent for you. This is a great time to really use your communication skills, use your writing skills. For those of you who are into photography, media, journalism, dealing with social media, technology, all of this is being highlighted at this time. This Mercury here also can make you risk-taking, where you're wanting to try something new, wanting to put yourself out there. Mercury, of course, is ruling over your 2nd house along with your 5th house, so this may be a time of trying to make money through a new means. This could be a time of speculation, of trying out a new entrepreneurship pursuit. All of this can come up during this time. This Mercury, of course, is a very youthful energy as well, coming into this 5th house. So this could be a time where you are wanting to have a little bit more fun, to try out new hobbies, new interests. This can make you very curious and wanting to learn, to explore at this time. And so you could see some traveling, some socializing that's coming through with this transit here of Mercury. This could also be a time of a new romantic interest, or your romantic connections that you're already in becoming improved here as Mercury comes in here, making you want to communicate, to socialize more in these areas. Venus is also going to shift into your 4th house. And so again, we see this creative energy here. Venus in the 4th house, though, can definitely make you very comfort seeking, very much introspected. So you can see the focus of yourself kind of shifting from that 3rd house to the 4th house, where you can definitely become more of a homebody, more so comfort seeking, wanting to relax, to take some time to yourself. And this can be an excellent time to sort out priorities within your home life, as Venus is also ruling over your sixth house of your daily work and responsibilities. So many of you taking care of some personal things that really need to be worked out at this time. This is excellent for this. And again, Venus is ruling over your first house and your sixth house. So many of you can be very focused on your health, on your eating habits, on your body. All of this can come up during this time, where some of you can get involved in a new diet and a new workout at this time, where this really can help to improve you. And this also indirectly is giving you some peace of mind, some comfort here. Again, this Mars in this first house, this energy needs to be directed outward. And so this Venus is supporting you as it comes into this fourth house. Now we're also going to see a full moon that is occurring here in your ninth house. And remember that this full moon is going to be in conjunction with Saturn retrograde. And so this is definitely a time to work out those areas of your ninth house that need to be dealt with. So for some of you, there can be issues around education. And with the Sun and Venus there in that fourth house and third house during this month, and Mercury in the fifth house, all of these really are dealing with education. So for some of you, this is definitely an area that you need to focus on, is your education. For those of you who are seeing some difficulties or challenges around education with that Saturn retrograde, definitely don't give up. This is a time to look at what the areas that you need to change, that you need to improve upon in your area of education. Remember that Saturn never denies anything, it only delays. So this retrograde is really an opportunity to reflect, to receive some help from a teacher, from a counselor, to really help you get on track in these areas. So this is not meant for you to give up. This is meant for you to find a better strategy of how you're going to be successful. Saturn retrograde here in this ninth house also, though, can affect your career. Saturn's ruling over that 10th house. So for some of you, you need to take up some advice to find something to improve in your area of career. So especially for those of you who are entrepreneurs, you could find yourself taking up a new class, of seeking out some new advice that can help you to really expand in your area of career. This can also be a time of really deep introspection with this Saturn that's in your ninth house of long distance journeys. This really is drawing you more inward, where this is about taking that time for yourself to really relax, to rejuvenate, to find the balance that you need in your life. We're also going to see a new moon there in your fourth house. So again, huge focus around that fourth house area. This can certainly be a time where you, again, are taking up a new course, taking up a new hobby, where you are very focused on your education, your home, your family, all of this coming up at this time. You could be taking up a new pursuit that gives you a sense of peace. Some of you getting involved in yoga, meditation at this time could come up during this month of August. Also, this new moon can be a time where you're thinking of making some changes around your house, making some new renovations within your home, changing up your decoration, changing up your furniture. For some of you, this could also be a time, though, where you're thinking of getting a new home, a new residency, where you're planning of what your next move is going to be. For those of you with a Gemini moon or Gemini ascendant, this will be Venus entering into your second house. And so this is definitely a time of thinking of family, of your resources, of your comfort. You can be very much comfort seeking at this time, very security focused, very hardworking, and very supportive of your family members. Venus, of course, is ruling over your fifth house, along with your 12th house. So again, this really can pull you into this zone of comfort seeking and relaxing, being more family oriented. For some of you, being very focused on your children with that fifth house activated, but with the 12th house and the fifth house both being about your enjoyment, right? The fifth house is about your hobbies, about the things that you really enjoy, and that 12th house is about relaxation, about indulgence. So you want to be careful about your eating habits habits and your spending habits in particular during this transit, as this can drive you to overspend, to indulge too much at this time where you're getting into this very lackadaisical attitude. So you really want to take this time to focus on what you need for yourself. What is going to benefit you in the long run in terms of your health, in terms of your physical needs? All of this is extremely important to consider. We're also going to see Venus push ahead into your third house. So as it goes into that third house, that can really make you more active, where you are geared towards your career, your projects, your self-expression. For those who are entrepreneurs, who are working in media, journalism, those who are writers, those who are doing jobs that involve communication, especially, this is definitely an excellent time for you to express yourself. This can be a time with Venus ruling over that 12th house where you're getting some profound inspiration coming through. And so this can be excellent for your creative flow and expression. We're also going to see Mars shifting back into your 12th house. And so this could definitely be a time where you're a little bit restless. Mars is a very active planet coming back into that 12th house of your sleep, of your relaxation, of your indulgence. And so this can definitely be a time where you are very much restless, wanting to travel, wanting to move, wanting to change in some way. And so definitely it's a time of really focusing on how you're going to expend this energy, especially as Scorpio is ruling over that 6th house. And we have Aries in the 11th house. So some of you really can be looking forward to wanting to connect socially within your groups, taking up a new hobby, a new pursuit. But also this can make you very focused on your work, very much focused on your responsibilities of what needs to get done. And so this restlessness can be channeled into these activities that can really help to bring your mind at a state of peace and relaxation at this time. You do want to be careful of hidden enemies through your work with this Scorpio energy in the 6th house. Again, Aries in that 11th house. Some people can not have your best interests at mind during this time, especially those who are working with colleagues, who are working in a career where you're having to deal with other people. You can get a lot of competition, a lot of people who are out to defeat you in this area. This could also be a time of dealing with lawsuits, dealing with legal issues. So you just want to take some caution in this area. Make sure that you're channeling this Martian energy in the correct way. Mars ruling over that 6th house will certainly support you in overcoming the obstacles within your life. But Mars in that 12th house can make you a little bit lazy, relaxed in your daily life. So you want to pay attention to the everyday responsibilities and obstacles that come up for you. Sun is also going to transit there in your 3rd house. So again, 3rd house is getting a huge spotlight. So competition, dealing with siblings, having the courage to put yourself out there, writing, communication, all of this being extremely highlighted during this transit. This is a profound placement for those who, again, are entrepreneurs, who are wanting to express yourself, wanting to put yourself out there. This can certainly be a time where you are being more competitive or needing to be more competitive to really put your talents and skills out. We're also going to see Mercury, which is getting exalted here in your 4th house. So this is an excellent position. Mercury is your chart ruler coming into your 4th house of peace and happiness. And so this will definitely be an area that you're very focused in on. Mercury coming into this 4th house can make you very intelligent, very clever-minded, very much able to understand the abstract areas of life and how to connect with others. So this can definitely be an emotional time for you where you're more connected with your family, with your home. This can again be a time where you're focused on your inner peace, your happiness, on your home life, where you can be very cozy, very much focused on your needs that you have for yourself. This is very important during this transit. We're also going to see a full moon that is going to take place in your 8th house. So this is very intense. This full moon is occurring in a conjunction with Saturn retrograde. So Saturn is actually helping you in this area. Saturn does very well in the 8th house. And this is definitely a time of your growth, of your progress, your improvement. And so this can take you through some dramatic changes during this transit here. And this entire Saturn transit really transforming your life in a big way where you can have some profound spiritual progress, some major changes that can help you to better yourself. But this full moon coming into this 8th house is very intense, as a full moon is when the moon is at its peak. And we know that the moon, again, is very changeable. It's very emotional. And so as it comes into this 8th house of sudden changes, this can certainly be a time where you're going through a lot of emotional shifts within your life. This is a time where you want to find that stability for yourself, where you want to find that comfort, that healing for yourself. Again, all of these planets are supporting you going more inward, relaxing, taking that time to take care of your health and to really focus in on what your needs are. So this is very important. This full moon also coming into this 8th house could be you receiving some wealth, some support through others at this time through your business. You can see some great expansion here in your finances and the support that you're getting. We're also going to see a new moon that is taking place here in your 3rd house as well. So again, huge focus on this 3rd house. You could be taking up a new hobby, a new creative project, doing something new in the area of business, entrepreneurship. All of this is getting increased at this time. So this is excellent to start up something new and to make some wealth through it. For those of you with a Cancer moon or Cancer ascendant, this will be Venus entering into your 1st house. So this is a very prominent position. As Venus comes into your 1st house, this can definitely make you more pleasant, more attractive to others, where you are being well liked, even popular at this time. This can make you very much focused on your appearance as well, where you are making major changes, where you're wanting to add something to your appearance to make yourself more beautiful, where you are very focused on your outfit, on your looks, on cosmetics. All of this can come up during this transit here. This can also make you more so inclined towards enjoyment, towards socializing, towards having fun, enjoying yourself. So this could be a time to take up a new hobby, a time to explore something new with this Venus in here. We're also going to see Mars that is entering into your 11th house. So this can definitely make you very ambitious during this time, where you're very goal focused. You're very much focused on your future, on where you want to take things in your life. You want to be careful in your social circles, though. This Martian energy certainly can come off as very aggressive, as very take charge, especially as Mars is ruling over that 10th house of authority, where you can come off as very dominant and authoritative within your social circles. This can be excellent when dealing with work colleagues, dealing in professional groups, but in your friend circles, you can see some drama or arguments that come up to the surface at this time. So you just want to pay very close attention to how you are interacting with others, how you're speaking, how you're coming across. This can certainly be something very prominent during this transit here. This can also be a time where, again, this 5th house is your creativity, your talents. So you can use your skills, your knowledge, your creativity to push forward towards your goals, towards your pursuits. And this can be very beneficial for you. We're also going to see the sun enter into your 2nd house. And so this can certainly put a spotlight on your family, on your finances, on your security. Again, this is a month where many of you are going to be very ambitious, very goal-oriented, very much looking forward to security, towards your gains, towards where things will go in your life. And so many of you are very focused in on this area. You can be very much focused on your family members, on your home life, on being very connected in this area. This can be a time where you're a little more cozy and connected to your security, wanting to go into this area where you are tapping into comfort seeking, where you are looking at your beauty, your resources. This can be a time where you're focused on cosmetics, where you're focused on your appearance with this transit here. This is especially true as Venus is also going to shift here into your second house. So many of you, again, very focused on cosmetics, on appearance, on spending, on beauty, all of this coming up at this time. But this transit here of Sun and Venus in your second house also is an area where there is caution needed in terms of spending. And this is especially true as Venus is ruling over your fourth house and your 11th house. So this can be a time where you are spending, where you're putting out a lot of money, where you are focused on making your dreams come true, where you're focused on purchasing items that will help you in your area of security. But you want to be careful of overspending, and you want to be very cautious about how you are treating your body. What kinds of things are you putting in your body as the second house deals with your food intake? So this can definitely be a time where you want to pay attention to what your needs are, to what will help you in the long run, what will sustain you, nourish you. This is very important. We're also going to see Mercury that will get exalted here in your third house. And so this is definitely a great time for you in terms of career, in terms of your pursuits, any kind of projects that you're taking up. Mercury there also rules over your 12th house, so you can get a lot of intuition, inspiration, creativity coming through here, where you can really express your gifts to others. This could also bring up some challenges around siblings, though. As we have the third and the 12th house, there can be a little bit of distance with siblings, or you're contacting siblings long distance. Your siblings may have been going on a trip where you are having to connect to them through distance, through traveling, through long distance phone calls. This can come up during this time. This also can be a time where you are a little bit disturbed in your area of sleep. So there can be some restlessness occurring. Again, as Mercury is controlling that 12th house of your bedroom. So you can be very restless, very active, wanting to do something, wanting to pursue something at this time. This can definitely be excellent as this third house deals with communication, with writing abilities, and so does Mercury. So this can be excellent for those who are involved in media, journalism, again, entrepreneurs, those who are working in communications, working with technology. All of this can be benefited during this transit of Mercury. Venus is also going to shift into that second house, and we're going to see a full moon that is occurring here within your seventh house. And so this can definitely be a time of wrapping up some arguments, disagreements, conflicts within this area here. We do have this Saturn retrograde that is in conjunction with this full moon, and so there certainly can be some karma, some issues, conflicts to deal with in this area. And so for many of you, this Saturn Capricorn has been difficult for many years here, where this has been a challenge here. This is definitely a time to resolve those difficulties that have been occurring for this 2.5-year cycle of Saturn in this seventh house, where you can see some issues that are finally getting resolved, finally coming to a point of closure. And again, this can occur within your romantic relationships. This can occur within business partnerships. All of this kind of getting wrapped up during this Saturn retrograde and this full moon, really getting you to release, to let go of these difficulties around this area. We're also going to see a new moon there in your second house. So again, that second house is getting hugely highlighted during this month. We're going to see a new moon happening in the second house, which really opens you up to new possibilities, new ways of increasing your resources. And again, this can be a time where you're focused on your appearance, as the moon is ruling over that first house of self, and we have the second house ruled over by the sun as well. So many of you can be focused on how you are going to make changes to better yourself, to better in your appearance, in your physical needs, in your resources, all of this coming up where you can make some major changes in your life. Those of you with a Leo moon or Leo ascendant, this will be Venus entering into your 12th house. And as Venus comes into your 12th house, this can definitely be a time where you are more relaxed, more introspected, more turned inward. Remember that Venus is ruling over your 10th house and your 3rd house, which makes it excellent for your career and business. But for some of you, you may be taking a step back in this area. So this is definitely a time where you can be more relaxed, more inward focused. Some of you working very hard in isolation, but needing some time to yourself to rejuvenate, to take some relaxation. This can be a time of stepping away from the public. Venus is also going to push ahead into your 1st house where most of the focus will be. So as Venus comes out of your 12th house, this is definitely going to shift the energy where you're becoming more social, more outward. We're going to see the sun also that is shifting in this 1st house, which is your ruler. It's coming into its own house here, getting into its own sign of Leo. This is very powerful, affecting your personality in a huge way. And we're going to see this new moon along with this that is occurring in your 1st house. So some major changes are occurring here in your personality. As Venus comes in here, you can become more popular, more social, more likable. But also with Venus in here, you can be very focused on your appearance, very self-conscious. So many of you focus on some changes that you can make in your appearance and the way that you're coming across. We're also going to see the sun in here, which really is going to accentuate your personality. The sun already is the ruler of your chart coming into this 1st house in its own sign. So this is incredibly powerful where many of you can become very confident, very charismatic, very expressive at this time. Those of you who have been a little bit shy or have been taking a step back, you can see your personality starting to really shine and to be expressed outwardly at this time. This really can increase your confidence in a huge way. And this can make you come across as very authoritative, as very commanding, especially those who are in a business where you are working with others, where you're working with colleagues, where you are in a professional position. You can see your authoritative and demonstrative personality traits really coming up to the surface at this time. This can also be a time, again, where you are thinking of making some personal changes that will help you to improve upon yourself. So this new moon occurring here in your 1st house, many of you can be thinking of changing up your appearance, your hairstyle, the way that you are approaching life in a huge way. We're also going to see Mercury, which is entering into your 2nd house. So this is excellent for your speech, for your intelligence. Mercury is Karaka for the 2nd house. So this can definitely be a time where you are being more communicative, more social, where you are articulating very well at this time. And remember that Mercury is your 2nd and 11th lord. So these are money houses that Mercury is ruling over. So this can be excellent for your gains, for your success in business at this time, for your communication skills overall. This really can be exceptional. Mercury coming into the 2nd house can also be excellent for your education. So for those of you who are still in school, this can be great. And Rahu, of course, in that 9th house of your chart is really putting that focus in on your education. So many of you who are in higher education, you really can see some great success with this exalted Mercury coming in here. This also can make you more talkative and connected in with your family, with your close relatives. This can definitely make you more focused on security. Some relatives can come to you for support at this time. This can make you more so connected with your father, especially. This is an excellent transit for you as Mercury comes in here. Now, this also can bring up some conflict because remember that Mercury is ruling over 2 difficult houses in your chart. But for the most part, these are issues that you can overcome. Mercury is bringing in the cleverness, the resources that you can use to your advantage. We're also going to see a full moon that is occurring in your 6th house. And remember that this full moon is in conjunction with a Saturn retrograde. So this is a very intense full moon. This Saturn is excellent for your 6th house. Remember that the negative planets or the challenging planets really do well in the most challenging houses. And so this is excellent for dealing with enemies, conflicts, legal issues. But remember that Saturn's retrograde, so this really is not a time of taking action in this area, but it's a time to reflect, to review, to develop a plan, a strategy. And this can really help you to progress as Saturn comes out of retrograde in November. This full moon here in this sixth house really can make you very much focused in on time, on routine. You can be very punctual at this time, and this can be excellent for taking up a new diet, for kicking out an old habit that no longer serves you, as this sixth house also deals with your diet and health. And so this is an excellent time to let go of old, outdated habits that are no longer serving you. For those of you with a Virgo moon or Virgo ascendant, this will be Venus entering into your 12th house. And the 12th house will be the main focus of your chart during this month, as we have a new moon and the sun that is all entering into this 12th house as well. So very prominent house. And this 12th house, of course, is about isolation. It's about spirituality, going inward, taking a step back, about relaxation. So many of you having the need to rejuvenate yourself. For those who have been working very hard, some of you are overworked, some of you have been dealing with people too much, needing some time to yourself to really reflect. And so this is definitely a time to take a step back, to take the time that you need. This is a time where if you're not resting and relaxing in the way that your body needs, this can definitely affect your health. So you want to pay attention to these areas very strongly. Now, you also want to be careful because Venus and the Sun are planets that are all about relaxation in your chart, especially coming back into this house of indulgence, of relaxation. And so this is definitely a time where you want to be careful about your habits and how they're going to affect your health. This Venus, as it rules over your 9th house in the 12th house, definitely can make you interested in foreign affairs, interested in travel. You could be going on a trip at this time. And we have this new moon back here in this 12th house, which really can give you some profound insight, some new revelations about your life. And so this is an excellent time to keep a dream journal, an excellent time for meditation, for self-reflection. For some of you, this is excellent to take that time as you can get some profound insights that can help you in moving forward here. Venus does also rule over your 2nd house, and so this can affect your finances, where some of you are spending or some of you are finding some losses or some ups and downs in your finances, where this could be a low period where you're not getting as much resources coming in. This is definitely a time, again, to take that time to focus on your needs. This is very important. K2 in that 2nd house, again, is also showing that there's a lack of focus in that area. And so this is definitely a time where you are again needing to focus on what you need, on what you don't need, to make those necessary changes, to reflect in those areas, as you can get some strong insights that can help you to improve upon your life. We're also going to see a full moon that is in conjunction with Saturn there in your 5th house. And so this can be a time of, again, coming up with some creative inspiration, some new found ideas for yourself. But also Saturn rules over that 6th house. So again, your health, your needs, your diet, all of this is coming up where you need to focus on what is it that you need? What do you need to change? What do you need to improve? What is going to help you in the long run? What's going to sustain you? That's going to take care of your health, that is going to lead you to success. Focusing in on those areas are very important with this Saturn retrograde occurring here. This full moon in conjunction with Saturn retrograde in the 5th house really can make you go through some dramatic changes. You can see some spiritual changes coming through. You can see some new insights. This 5th house is also related to your past life deeds. And so you can have some profound insights and experiences that help you to really improve. This can also affect your education, as this 5th house deals with knowledge. And so this is a great time to make improvements, adjustments in those areas. We're also going to see a new moon again back in that 12th house. And so really a new travel, a new journey, a new experience that is taking you away from your home or your mundane environment. For those of you with a Libra moon or Libra ascendant, this will be Venus entering into your 10th house. And so this is an excellent time of focusing in on your career, as Venus is your chart ruler going into your 10th house of career. So many of you very focused on your professional life, on how you're coming across, the responsibilities that you're taking up at this time is very important. Venus here in your 10th house can make you very popular, very well liked within your career. So this can be an excellent time for this. This is a difficult sign for Venus to be in, and a difficult house for Venus, as this is the 10th house, an Upachaya house, and Venus is a rather soft planet. So this is definitely a time where you want to pay close attention to your actions and behaviors in your career. To not become too lazy or unfocused in this area is extremely important. But for many of you, as this is your own chart ruler, this is really going to help you in your career pursuits. We're also going to see the sun that is entering into the sign of Leo. And this is where we are seeing a huge spotlight here in your 11th house. So we're going to have Venus that's entering into this 11th house as well. And we will see a new moon here. Very prominent position for you. So many of you will be very focused on your social networks, on your long-term goals, on your career, your reputation. All of this is coming up to the forefront as we have all of this activity in your 11th house. As the sun comes in here, the sun rules this house, so many of you can have very strong desires, very strong ambitions at this time. So this can be excellent in terms of your determination, your drive, your ability to accomplish your goals. This can be a time, though, again, where you want to be careful about being too lazy or withdrawn in your task and responsibilities. Sun in this 11th house definitely encourage you to pursue your desires. So you don't want these desires to get too overblown here in this 11th house. But again, for the most part, many of you are going to be very focused on your goals and ambitions. We do have Venus in this house. And so as Venus leaves your 10th house, it shifts your focus a little bit here, as this is your chart ruler moving ahead into a new house. And so this is definitely going to make you very focused on your social contacts, on your networks, your groups that you're a part of, on those who can help support you. So a lot of networking can be occurring here as Venus comes into this 11th house, where you're reaching out to contacts that can support you in your career. This again could be a time where you're planning, where you're making future plans, where you are getting advice from elders, from elder siblings. Some support in that area can be seen. Also, with this new moon here, this really can be a great time to take up a new project, especially projects that are involved in groups. So those of you who are working in careers that involve working on a team, this can be excellent with this new moon here in this 11th house. But in general, this sparks some new inspiration, some new ideas that can really help you to grow and to push ahead into the future. We are going to see a full moon also that is happening here in your 4th house in conjunction with Saturn retrograde. So this full moon in your 4th house really can make you very deep, very introspective in terms of your career, your pursuits, your accomplishments, your goals. Again, a lot of long-term thinking that is occurring here. This also really can draw you inward. So again, there's a need to focus in on your responsibilities, but to also take the time that is needed for yourself. This Rahu in the 7th house especially can be very draining, dealing with a ton of people and activity in your career, in your everyday life. And so definitely with the moon in this 12th house, this is all about kicking old habits or tendencies that don't help you in your health and your happiness and your peace of mind. And so for some of you, it is time to develop a new coping mechanism that can help you in dealing with the craziness of your everyday life. This is very important. This Saturn retrograde in here really making you think and ponder about your life and what you need on a personal level is very prominent. We're also going to see a new moon again in that 11th house, where this really gets you focusing on your goals, on your long-term gains. For those of you with a Scorpio moon or Scorpio ascendant, this will be Venus entering here into your ninth house. And so this is excellent in terms of your relationship with your father, with your mentors, with anyone who is guiding you at this time. And Venus in this ninth house also can get you really interested in foreign travel, foreign cultures, foreign religions. It can get you very interested in developing different philosophies and learning, gaining knowledge and understanding. This can be excellent for those of you who are still in education here. In higher education, this can really help you in your success. Venus, of course, rules over your 7th and 12th house. So excellent in terms of foreign affairs, foreign connections, in business, partnership, all of this getting highlighted as Venus comes into this ninth house here. We're also going to see Mars enter into the sign of Taurus here in your 7th house. And so again, this really puts a huge focus on your relationships, on your partnerships. You can be very devoted, very faithful at this time, especially as Mars is your chart ruler. So really putting a heavy focus in on your commitment to your relationship and your business partnerships can come through very strongly during this transit. But remember that Mars in here also can cause some disturbance within your relationships as well. So you want to make sure that you're not coming off as too overbearing or controlling in these areas. For the most part, this can be excellent for business as this gives you a very authoritative and hard-working demeanor that can really help you in terms of achieving those goals. It really changes your personality dramatically where others can see you as very dominant, very authoritative in your speech and the way that you're coming across. We're also going to see the sun that is entering here into your 10th house. And so again, this is highlighting your career, and this becomes the main focus as Venus is also going to leave that 9th house and move ahead into your 10th house, where we're also going to see a new moon here in the sign of Leo as well. So a lot of activity going on here in this 10th house. And as we have the sun here in the 10th house, it really makes you career focused, really driven, really ambitious. This can be excellent for those who are working in a professional role, working in the role of a teacher, administrator, guide of some kind. Your leadership skills can be accentuated at this time with this sun here in this 10th house, where you can have a very commanding presence and very much well-liked, very popular with Venus coming into this 10th house as well. Venus also can really support you in your relationships, where you can come across as very responsible, very committed, very hardworking at this time. Remember, though, that Venus rules over that 12th house, so don't get too distracted by these areas of relationship, as this can take you away from your work life. This also can be showing some sort of loss, and so you want to be careful around relationships, again, about getting too controlling, too heavy in this area. This can cause some separations, arguments, difficulties with this transit here of Mars. For the most part, though, as Mars is your chart ruler, it's going to help you in terms of your relationships. As we have this new moon here in your 10th house, for some of you, especially in entrepreneurship roles, this can be excellent for taking up a new project, taking up a new pursuit in your career field. And remember that Venus was back in that 9th house originally. So using your knowledge, using the information that you've collected, the new philosophy that you've gained, this really can help you to improve upon your area of your professional life and how you're being seen by the public. We're also going to have a full moon here that is taking place back in your 3rd house in conjunction with Saturn retrograde. A lot of karmic lessons and difficulties to work on with this Saturn retrograde in this 3rd house. A lot of this surrounding communication, your courage, your skills, all of this coming up at this time. You want to take the time to really reflect in this area, to focus on how are you putting your energy out? Where are you putting your focus at? This is very important. And with this full moon here, a lot of this is around developing a new philosophy, a new belief system, changing your old outdated beliefs to really help you to improve in this area. For those of you with a Sagittarius moon or Sagittarius ascendant, this will be Venus entering into your 8th house. So super intense transit here. Venus is your 6th lord going into your 8th house. And so this is a very interesting transit here. This is giving you a ton of strength and charisma to overcome the obstacles of life. Venus is here to help you in this position. But this also can bring about some relationship difficulties. And so Venus, being the karaka of spouse, especially in a male's chart, really can bring up some ups and downs within your connections. For the most part, though, Venus being your sixth lord here in the eighth house really is trying to help to support you in this area, giving you the charisma, giving you the charm, the peaceful and cleverness to really approach these situations and to overcome this. We are going to see Mars that is entering here into your sixth house as well. So Mars also is supporting you a great deal in terms of overcoming the obstacles of life, especially as Mars is a great friend to your ruler Jupiter. So this is an excellent position for you where this really can give you a ton of drive and energy to overcome obstacles. This could also be a time where you're getting involved in a new diet and a new exercise routine at this time. You can find yourself being more active. This is Mars encouraging you to really work in this area. We're going to see the sun enter into your ninth house as well. And the ninth house really becomes the highlight of your chart during this month, as we have Venus that is also entering into your ninth house after leaving your eighth house. And we have a new moon that's taking place in this ninth house as well. So this house really is very prominent during this month of August. And as the sun comes into this ninth house, this can make you excellent in terms of teaching, publishing, sharing information. You can be an excellent leader when it comes to your knowledge, your belief systems, the things that you want to share out into the world. Also, Venus coming in here can make you very creative, very expressive, very much interested in foreign philosophies, foreign cultures. This can be a time where you are wanting to learn, wanting to explore. And so it can also be a time of travel where you're interested in traveling, exploring, and especially as Venus is ruling over your 11th house, this can be a time where you are interested in socializing or going on trips with your friends, with your older siblings, with your elders. This can come up during this transit. We also are going to see this new moon in here where you can take up a new interest, a new hobby again around philosophy, religion, travel, culture, all of this coming up during this time. And this can be an excellent transit for those of you who are involved in education, where you can find yourself more dedicated to your work, where you can find some more success in this area. So excellent in terms of those who are in higher education, really making some strides forward. We're also going to see a full moon here that is taking place in your second house in conjunction with a Saturn retrograde. And so with the full moon here in your second house, you want to be careful about your diet, about your eating habits, your spending habits, how much you're indulging and splurging. This moon really encourages comfort seeking, pleasure seeking as it comes into the second house. And especially as the moon is ruling over your eighth house of sudden ups and downs and intensity, this can definitely bring up some emotional difficulties. So you want to make sure that you're dealing with any kind of emotional problems or conflicts within your relationships in a healthy way and not escaping into unhealthy habits that really are not going to be good for you in the long run. We have this Saturn retrograde in this second house that really can make you feel limited in terms of your resources, in terms of how you are dealing with your security, your family life. But this really is a time for you to plan, to strategize, to take your time to come up with a better way of bringing in resources and dealing with these areas. For those of you with a Capricorn moon or Capricorn ascendant, this will be Venus entering into your seventh house. So Venus is coming into the original home of Venus. This is our seventh house, Libra being the original seventh sign. So Venus coming in here can make you very much focused in on relationships and connections. This can be excellent in terms of your ability to connect with others, to partner up with others. You can come across as very popular, very likable here in this position. This also, though, can make you excellent at debate, at arguments, at discussions, dealing with contracts and dealings at this time. So this can be excellent all around for business and partnership. Remember, though, that Cancer is a difficult sign for your chart, and Venus is having a difficult time in the sign of Cancer as well. So this can bring up some potential spikes and emotions and difficulties around this. But for the most part, this is a time where you can keep cool and resolve these difficult situations, as Venus is your fifth lord, and so it is helping you tremendously in this area. We're going to see Mars that is entering into your fifth house. And so this certainly can make you very competitive, very much focused on your projects, your goals, your activities. Those who are interested in sports and athletics, this can be an excellent time as Mars comes into this fifth house. This really can give you a lot of energy and drive in this area. This also can be a time where you are wanting to be active with your children, where you are getting actively involved in romance and dating. This can be an excellent time for you to enjoy yourself, especially as we have Mars ruling over your 11th house. This really can be a very social time for you. And even with Mars ruling over that fourth house, you really can have a lot of restless energy that can affect your sleeping habits or your peace of mind. So this really gives an excellent outlet for you to express this energy. We're also going to see the sun that is entering into your eighth house. And the eighth house really becomes a prominent house for you, as we're going to see Venus entering into Leo, and we're going to see this new moon in Leo. So we have a ton of activity going on during this month of August here in your eighth house. And as the sun comes into this eighth house, this definitely is focused on you looking at your self-esteem, looking at your confidence, looking at your ability to express yourself. This gets extremely highlighted at this time. And this really can take you through some profound transformations where you're really working on improving on these areas for yourself. So this can be excellent. This can be excellent in terms of your long-term gains, in terms of your financial dealings with others, within your partnership, money that you're receiving. All of this really can get prominently highlighted at this time. The sun really burns out this eighth house and lights this up. This is normally a dark house, so this can be excellent for you in terms of those who are involved in research, in journalism, and those who are looking to uncover things, research. All of this is excellent at this time. Detective work, anything where you are digging up hidden information, the sun really lights up this house and gives you a strong focus here. We're also going to see Venus here once again, and Venus is ruling over that 5th and 10th house. So this is excellent for you in terms of business and resources. We know that this 8th house, again, is a house of shared resources and income through others. So you can certainly bring in some wealth through your career at this time. This can help you in a lot of ways. This is definitely a time where you want to focus in on that energy that's there in your 5th house to really help you in your area of career. K2 in that 10th house can certainly make you uninterested or dissatisfied in your area of work. But this is definitely not a time to make any kind of rash decisions around this. You want to really focus in on this area and take your time. You can find some great success here, even if this is unsatisfying. Mars in that 5th house can really help you to take up a side hobby or interest that can also become a source of income as well. We're going to see a full moon that is taking place in your 1st house, very prominent position. So many of you going through some profound changes this month as well. This is Saturn retrograde in conjunction with this full moon, where this really becomes about focusing in on your health, focusing in on your self-esteem, on your personality. All of this is coming to the forefront. And this full moon here can signify that you're making major changes, releasing old, outdated patterns. So this full moon really gives a great opportunity for you to get over some past fears, some obstacles, some difficulties in your life. Letting go of the past is extremely important during this full moon. For those of you with an Aquarius moon or Aquarius ascendant, this will be Venus entering here into your sixth house. And so this can be a time where you're really focused in on your health, focused on your physical appearance, on your diet, making some dramatic changes here. But Venus here also can cause some problems, because this is a very soft planet coming into a very challenging house. And so you want to pay attention to your diet, to the things that you're taking into your body. Venus has a tendency to represent sweets, so you can get a bit of a sweet tooth during this transit. You want to pay attention to this, to really be careful about how you are treating your body. This is important, to really take care of your needs, to take care of what's going to nourish you, what's going to bring you peace and happiness in the long run is extremely important. Venus in this sixth house also really can make you wanting to bring in some fun, some enjoyment into your daily routine. So this is especially true as Venus is ruling over that fourth house of your chart, where you're wanting to make this area for you very comfortable. So this can be a great time for those of you who are entrepreneurs, especially adding in some music or changing up your setting where you're working at. This can really help to improve in this area. So those of you who are feeling stagnant, this is showing that some of you need to make some changes in this area of your career to really clear out some clutter, to add some ambiance to your environment. Venus also, as it rules over your ninth house, for those who are in business working with others, you can also be more accommodating and considerate of those that you're working with. So wanting to bring some peace, wanting to bring some comfort into your workspace can also be seen. We're also going to see Mars that is transiting through your fourth house. And so this can make you very much ambitious, driven at this time, especially as we have Mars ruling over that 10th house and 3rd house. Those of you who are working in journalism, media, working in jobs that involve communication, self-expression, creativity, all of this really is getting highlighted, where you can have a ton of drive and ambition. You can have some restlessness and difficulty around sleep habits though, so you want to take the time to really focus on where you're directing this energy at, and to really, again, with Venus in that 6th house, to take care of your health, to do the things that your body needs. We do have a lot of energy here with this Mars here in this 4th house. This can make you very restless, especially as Rahu is there in your 3rd house as well, where some of you are wanting to travel, some of you are wanting to make changes, to move to a new location at this time. You want to take your time and to not make any kind of rash decisions around this. This could be an excellent time for finding some physical outlets that can help you to get some of this energy out. We're also going to see the sun that is entering here into your 7th house. And this is where most of the activity will take place for you during this month of August, as we have Venus entering into the 7th house along with a new moon. And so with the sun here in your 7th house, this can put a huge spotlight on your relationship, where you can attract many people. You can be very popular, very magnetic at this time with the sun coming in here. And this can help you in the area of business, where you can attract some new contacts that can help you in your growth. This can be challenging though in the area of romantic relationships for some of you. Sun here can definitely make this a very dominating area. So you can have a partner who is being more authoritative, more dominating in how they're approaching you in your relationships, or you can attract people who are overly dominating as well. You want to be careful about people who are narcissistic, who are controlling. You want to make sure you're setting the proper boundaries in this area. But for the most part, on the positive side, you can attract people who are very inspiring, who are very motivating, who are in authoritative positions that can help you again in this area of business. We're also going to see Venus in here as well. So again, this can make you very popular, very well known, very well liked by others, with Venus coming in here, especially as Venus is your 9th lord. So this can help you a lot in terms of your image and how you're coming across to others. With the new moon in here, again, this can bring in a new relationship, a new business partner, new romantic partner, new team that you're working on business-wise, new project, new contracts, new dealings coming in. Again, you want to be careful about anything that is controlling or manipulative, that you're looking over all the fine print before getting involved with anything. We're also going to see a full moon that is taking place back in your 12th house. And this is in conjunction with Saturn retrograde, so with your chart ruler. So many of you really focused on your work and responsibilities, really focused in on the things that you need to deal with within your daily life, but also some of you going back into retreat, going inward, going into this deep reflection. So some of you really taking some time away from the public, taking some time to reflect, to rejuvenate, to really take that time to yourself. And this can be excellent for you. Saturn, as it rules over your 1st and 12th house, gives you the unique ability to really be outward in the public and to take that time to yourself. So this can be a great transit for you. This can be excellent for spirituality as well, although Saturn is tricky in this area. But you can really take your time to reflect, to meditate, to keep a dream journal. All of this can help you in a huge way. This full moon is really asking for you to release, to let go of things that are no longer for you. This 12th house has everything to do with endings, completions, letting go. And this full moon, of course, is a point of culmination. So there's something major here that needs to be let go of for many of you. And as the moon rules over your 6th house, this has a lot to do with old, outdated routines that are no longer for you. This can also be a time for some of you where you have dealt with issues and conflicts in the past, and this is still lingering on an emotional level. So again, huge time to find ways to release and let go of the past. For those of you with a Pisces moon or Pisces ascendant, this will be Venus entering into your 5th house. And so this can be a very creative time for many of you. Venus is a bit of a tricky planet, and of course is in a tricky sign here in Cancer here, but occurring here in your 5th house, giving you a ton of creativity and self-expression. This can be tricky in terms of romance and dating for some of you, as Venus is ruling over that 8th house of sudden ups and downs. So you want to be careful about getting involved in new relationships and connections, to really take your time to get to know people, as you can see these sudden shifts occurring in this area. This can also be excellent for business. We have Venus ruling over that 3rd house of entrepreneurship, of skills, communication, writing, media, journalism, and it's in this 5th house, which is also a very creative and expressive house. So many of you can take up a new hobby, a new interest, a new outlet for business. All of this can come up during this time. We're also going to see Mars that is transiting through your 3rd house. So many of you increased courage and confidence at this time that can really help you. Many of you can come across as very authoritative in your way of speaking. You can do excellent in teaching, publishing, public speaking, all of this coming up, where you can come across as very dominant, very confident, and very well admired by others. This is an excellent transit for this. So those of you who are needing to be more competitive, who are needing to express yourself, you can feel this increase in your energy levels. We're also going to see the sun that is going to be transiting through your 6th house. And this will be the major focus for you during this month of August, as we're also going to see Venus here in this 6th house. And we're going to see a new moon here as well. So the sun coming into the 6th house really can make you focused on your health, focused on your diet. You can be very competitive, very active at this time. This is an excellent transit for those of you who are athletic, who are involved in competitive sports and teams. This can be excellent for you. We're also going to see Venus in here in this 6th house, which can make you very focused on your appearance, on your diet, on your habits. Many of you can become very self-conscious here with this Venus in here, very detail-oriented in your daily life. So this can be excellent for how you're dealing with your routines and daily habits. Although Venus is a tricky planet in this 6th house, as it's very soft, and this 6th house is a house of challenge. And so this can definitely be a time where you have to watch out for your health, to watch out for sweets. Some of you getting a sweet tooth, some of you being a little bit lazy or relaxed in your approach to your daily life. So just being cautious of how you're treating your body, of the habits that you have at this time, can be very important. This new moon coming in here can mean that you're developing a new approach to your daily routine, to your work life, to how you're getting those responsibilities and tasks done. It also can mean taking up a new diet, a new exercise routine. So this can be an excellent time where those of you are making some major improvements and adjustments for yourself. We're also going to see a full moon here in your 11th house in conjunction with Saturn retrograde. So this can be a time of letting go of old friendships and connections that are no longer serving you. This Saturn rules over your 11th and 12th house, so very difficult planet where you're seeing some losses around groups, connections for some of you. For some of you, it can be a time where you are losing some gains or resources as well. But remember that this is a time where Rahu is coming to the second house, where many of you are needing to let go of some old attachments and desires. So this is helping you in a way where you are finding some closures and endings in your life that are no longer for you. This is definitely a time where those of you can feel a little bit lighter, where you're releasing and letting go of things. Saturn is asking you to take a look at your long-term goals, your plans, your desires, and to make sure that everything is in line with your highest, greatest good, and that you're letting go of things that are no longer for you.